Hello everyone, and welcome to our fourth video on our BTEC Digital Information Technology tutorials. Today we're going to be looking at learning AIM A, Modern Technologies, and we're going to be focusing on topic 4, Modern Team Working. So let's take a look at our lesson objectives for today. We have three main strands for our objectives. The first one is we're going to look at describing changes to modern teams that are facilitated by the modern technologies that we now have. In the past, people would go to a physical building or an office and work with other employees in their team. However, technology has played a significant role in changing this process, and we'll look at that later today. We're going to also be able to then describe how modern technologies can be used to manage modern teams. Because with the changes of people working in a team now spread across the world, this means that the team leaders need to adapt their leadership techniques to make sure that they can communicate and monitor their different staff members. And then finally, we're going to look at describing how organisations use the modern technologies to communicate with their stakeholders. When we mention the word stakeholders, this is a person with an interest in the business, and this can range from an employee, a customer, the managers, the local suppliers, but also the local community of people living around that office or building. The main topic for today is modern teams. Now, this can be broken into three sections. The first section is world teams. Due to us now having technology that allows us to communicate across the globe, we can now have employers that we can recruit from not just inside their local area. For example, you may recruit a member of staff now from New York, London, and Tokyo to different parts of your business. Multicultural. Because we are recruiting people across the globe, we can get employees from various cultures that can bring a different point of view or a different creativity element to our team to make us more efficient. Inclusivity. Because we can now recruit across the globe, we can also get valuable contribution from people who would not have been able to recruit in the past. This may include people with disabilities or people who've not got the experience or ability to travel to your world of work. Let's take a look at world teams in more detail. So what could the benefits be of us having a world team? Well, clearly companies can make use of the very best experts across the world. They could use something called video conferencing, where you can have online meetings using video and sound to communicate. It means you can get the best expert, so you're getting someone who's highly skilled that can make your business more successful. You can also chat and message now online to allow your team to work together. Again, you may use instant messenger to talk to your friends and family. This can also be used in the world of work. To enable these world teams, the most important part is having an internet connection. If you don't have this internet connection, especially of a good communication speed, then you will find that your world team will be impacted. Teams with different people from different countries are multicultural. This enables you to have a better understanding of their culture, and it also allows you to have different ideas and angles to be considered. They may come up with something you did not consider at all, which then again stops you having problems down the line. Modern technology has allowed a flexibility of teams. The first area is by having a 24/7, 365 days a year approach to working. By having a world team that communicates using technology, it makes it easy to run services throughout the day and night. You may have employees in the UK, but whilst they go to sleep, employees in Australia may complete the work, and vice versa. This reduces the need for employees to work anti-social hours. No longer are staff having to work throughout the night to communicate with customers, because employees from another part of the globe can handle that while you sleep. There's also something called remote working versus office-based working. Now, by having this office-based working in the past, many people had to travel to that site. Therefore, by now having remote working, the benefit can be that there's no travel time or travel costs to get to the office. You could also reduce stress. I'm sure many of you have experienced road rage built up by traffic on your journeys. There's no cost for office space. Because people are being able to work from home in their remote working, the employer does not need a large building or premises and therefore can save money on rent, and equipment to furnish that office. They can use monitoring software to make sure that employees are working. Clearly, some employees may work from home, may be distracted. So from using monitoring software, similar to how we use Land School in schools, you can watch what people are doing and support them in their needs. Clearly, there's going to be many advantages and disadvantages of working from home as opposed to office-based working. We will look at these in a later topic. One area that modern team working has improved upon is live chat. Live chat systems enable customers to communicate with companies through their website. You may have been on our website recently and seen the live chat option and clicked on that to speak to a person from that company about a problem that you had. Customer support agents can support more than one person at a time. So therefore, while speaking to you, they may be speaking to several other people and therefore being really time efficient. Now, I had a live chat incident with Eon recently because there was an error in the meter reading and therefore this meant an error in my bill. Through the online live chat conversation, a transcript of the conversation was available at the end. This could then be used as proof of what myself and the representative from Eon had said if any action needed to be taken. And also customers may find it more convenient. Rather than calling the company and being in long queues waiting to get through to a person to talk to, and also having to pay the cost of having a phone call, this live chat option may be more convenient and easier for the user. The support agent could also be located in a different country. You may be able to set up a call center or a support agent live chat center that can be at a reduced cost because you base it in a different country, therefore saving money for the company. One example of a live chat system is a company called Push Doctor. Now, this company allows customers to have appointments with a doctor via their phone or computer. So, for example, if you go on holiday abroad, or if you're in the UK and you've got an illness, you can open up the application and speak to a doctor there and then. The doctor can then prescribe you drugs or refer the patient to a local hospital for further support. What advantages could the system give to patients? Have a think about the time that the application is available, the location that you may be in and how close you may be to a doctor that is physically available or not, if you can travel due to your illness, and also this cost that you may save from not having to travel to a hospital or a doctor and by doing it on your application on your phone or computer. We've mentioned the term flexibility previously. Let's take a look at that in more detail. Now, when you're using technology for your modern teams, you can be flexible in your working hours. Different employees in the team can be located in different time zones. So, for example, someone in New York, London, and Tokyo can be working at different times. This could lead to customer service being available at different periods of times to customers. For example, a customer may call the UK call centre up to 5 PM, and then when they make the call, they may be transferred to the New York call centre after 5 PM until 12 PM. And that can obviously continue throughout the day, allowing the call centre team in New York, London, and Tokyo to work hours that are suitable for their lifestyle. By using this new technology, it's also opened up casual staff, as opposed to permanent staff that was around in the past. When we use the word casual staff, this may be staff who are employed as freelancers or contractors to complete a particular project. So they may be allocated a set number of weeks to get a specific task completed for a set amount of payment. IT can also make managing temporary staff easier with scheduling software and electronic contracts. We'll take a look at some of these scheduling softwares in a part of the video later on. One company that uses temporary staff is Just Eat. Now, when you order your takeaway tonight, the delivery service will be provided by a network of drivers that are working on a casual staff basis. Most deliveries will be required at the weekend and at evening time, so therefore this allows people to work around other jobs or around their studies, so they can temporarily work at the hours that are required. This does mean that Just Eat doesn't need to pay for staff if they're not needed. there will be no point having a lot of delivery drivers available when people are asleep or are having their breakfast. This reduces the cost to the company Just Eat and allows them to operate at a profit. What could two other advantages be of having a permanent contract rather than a temporary contract? Think about things like job security, the way that permanent staff can apply for mortgages through banks, some employment benefits that you may gain from being a permanent member of staff, such as having a pension scheme where your employer pays part of your pension, or you may have a healthcare package where you get a discount at the local gym. See what you can come up with. We're now going to take a look at collaboration tools. These are tools that support people when working in different locations of the globe. Now, when we share documents using cloud services, such as Google Docs, we have the following features given to us. More than one person can work at the same time on the document. However, this still creates a single, consistent version, which means you will not have the issue of one of your employees working on a document that is out of date. Also, any changes that are made are completed in real time, so all the other users of the document can see the changes in a live state and know what's being changed and why, and they can then amend accordingly. Take a few moments to think what other advantages shared documents can have rather than using physical documents that we hand to each other to read. Now, there are many advantages of sharing documents with people in different areas. To support this, I'm going to refer to an example of how Sir Thomas Wharton Academy collaborates with Maltby Academy, and myself and Mr. Wordsworth share documents to support students at both schools. Now, when we share documents, we can access these from different devices, as long as we are connected to the internet. This means that myself and Mr. Wordsworth can use our mobile phones, our tablets, our laptops, and our personal computers to access the documents and work at them, whether that's at home, on our travels, or while we're at school with the students. By sharing documents online, we're no longer having to print documents off and post them to each other. This can save on printing costs, and it can also mean that there's less paperwork to store and to take to and from work. By having less paperwork, we can't then lose it and forget to take it with us when we go to different locations, and therefore this means that the confidential data is not put at risk of being seen by other people. We can also share documents instantly rather than having to post them. If I was to send this presentation to Mr. Wordsworth, he could then use this with his students in a matter of minutes, rather than me putting this presentation onto a USB and sending it via post, which could take a few days. Also, by sharing documents online, we can progress the document and see different versions of the history of the file. So I can see if I made a change on Monday and Mr. Wordsworth made a change on Tuesday, we could then know on Wednesday which is the latest file to use, and we can make sure that when we're not making changes, they've already been made by the other member of staff. Let's take a look at scheduling tools. Now, you may use scheduling tools on your devices already. On your calendar, you may set reminders for when you have a football match or a dentist appointment, or you may be having calendared notices of when you have homework that is due in. Now, this can also happen in the world of work. Employees could have to-do lists so they know which tasks to complete in which order. You can share calendars so each employee can see when other people are free to hold their meetings. And the cloud system also gives the ability to access scheduling tools from the internet devices anywhere in the world. So if you are out of the office, you can still use scheduling tools to identify which other members of staff are available that are inside the office. One scheduling tool example is called Kanban. Now, in this method, you have three sections. You have a to-do section, you have a currently doing section, and you have a completed done section. Each task is put on a card and placed in the appropriate section. Once you've done that task, you will move it through the process from to do to currently doing to complete and done. This allows you to schedule and plan all the stages that are needed until the activity is complete. The next scheduling tool we're going to take a look at is called a Gantt chart. Now, Gantt charts are used in project planning. You break down the different tasks into subtasks, and then once they are listed, you estimate how long each task and subtask should take to complete. These are known as deadlines and milestones. So for example, you may know that your first task has to be done in 2 days' time. The different tasks can then be allocated to your different employees. So while you're working on task 1, you may also have somebody working on task 2. Multiple users can see and update the chart. As unexpected delays may occur, that means you have to change the duration and deadlines given to the task. And once tasks are completed, notes may be added to explain what's been completed and how. We're now going to take a look at communication tools. Before we start looking into the theory, I'd like to consider the following 2 questions. How do you communicate with each other? And how does the school communicate with you or your parents or carers? So let's take a look at some of the communication tools. The first one is email or electronic mail. Now, this can be sent to a group of people at the same time. So in the To section, or the CC or BCC section, you may include several different email addresses, so many different people get the email at the same time. You can also attach files to your emails so people can see physical work that you have completed. Another communication tool is instant messaging. I'm sure you're all familiar with this and have your different social chat groups on your mobile devices. This allows employees to send internal messages to and from team members. Another method of communication tools is a message board, such as Slack or in Microsoft Teams. In here, you may post updates so a team can see what's happened and what delays are occurring and why. You could also post messages for other team members to reply to and help you in your times of need. The final 2 communication tools that we're going to look at is texting, where you can send messages to groups or individuals, and video conferencing, such as Skype, where a group of employees can hold meetings online and discuss, with using both video and audio, topics that they need to communicate about. In this final video part of the topic, we're going to take a look at stakeholders. Now, a stakeholder is anyone who is affected by or who can affect an organisation's actions and policies. There are many stakeholders that can exist, ranging from employees, the customers, or your suppliers of your products that you make items from. If we have a think about our school, we again have many different stakeholders with different opinions and different interests in our school, ranging from yourself, the students, the teachers, the staff. We also have the leaders and the managers. When we go to school each day, you will walk past the local community, so therefore people who live in our local area are stakeholders and have an interest in our organisation. The government is important because they want us to get certain curriculum taught and to allow you to get certain qualifications. And we also have suppliers who deliver us our books or our food to allow you to be catered for at dinner times. When we want to talk to our stakeholders, we use communication channels. Now, if we want to speak to a direct customer about one of their orders, we may communicate in a different way to if we want to communicate to all our customers, telling them of the current sale that we are having. Try to have a think which communication channel you would select for the following issues. To give information for other customers about a holiday, to complain that a product is of a poor quality, to recommend a great product, and which communication channel would you use to ask for a refund? Hopefully Hopefully you thought of different communication channels such as websites or social media or email or live chat, or you may have gone for the old style, calling them up and using voice communication via a telephone. Which examples could you think that a company could use for each of these communication channels? There are many different ways that communication channels can be used. For example, with websites, you may use these to tell customers about product information, whether that's a product needing to be recalled because it could cause harm to their health. You may also talk about pricing or special offers that your company are offering on your website to allow a large audience to see them. When it comes to social media, you may use posts to get research and to get answers back from customers so you can listen to them and gather their opinions. You may also deal with complaints using social media. For example, on Twitter, a customer may refer to you and you can then communicate back to deal with their complaint. People may also praise you using social media. If they have a good experience, they may make a post and tag you in it. When it comes to email, it's more direct and personal on a one-to-one basis. So this may be used for more serious complaints or for some support or assistance. Again, similar with live chat. You are talking on a one-to-one basis, so this may be used for support or an answer to a simple question. And when you come to ring up a company to use voice communication, again, you may want customer support. So you may be wanting to ask for your Sky company to take a package of sports off your account or to add HD package onto your account. Or you may be calling about complaints or sales. You may be asking them to add on extra items to your order. When you select which communication channel to use, it comes down to two main categories that you need to consider. Do you want it to be private or public? If it's private communications, that will be on a more one-to-one basis between the company and the individual. If it's a public communication, this means the entire audience of people can see that communication channel. In private communications, you will send an invoice directly to the one person. This because it may contain credit card details or address details for where the order will be sent to. Again, with public communications, where you want a large audience to see them, that might be about a product or service or a sale. The more people that see that available product may then purchase it. See if you can give another example of where you would use a private communication and a public communication.